Everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. I am finally moving on to the Oasis Springs families. I had already fully edited and made a voiceover for this recording. However, for whatever reason, my editing software refuses to export the videos with the music background, so unfortunately there won't be any music in the background of these videos. I did have to I'm redoing the voiceover and re-editing because just all of the audio was getting completely corrupted when I was adding in the music. So we're starting over with the voiceover. We're starting with the Landgraab families today. It's 3 different families in this video. We have the main Landgraab family, which is Geoffrey, Nancy, and then their 2 sons, Johnathan and Malcolm, who Johnathan is just Johnny Zest aged down into a teenager, and then Malcolm is aged down into a child. Then we have Nancy's second cousin. I think it's her dad's cousin's kid. And his wife and their twin children, and then the 2 sets of Landgraab grandparents. So Nancy's parents, Chester and Queenie, and then her second cousin's parents. I really wanted to age down Johnny Zest into a teenager, mainly because I wanted to. I didn't know if I wanted to go down the route of him being disowned. So if I did, I wanted to play that out from, maybe he got disowned as soon as he turned 18, or maybe shortly after. So if I go down that route, I want to be able to play it out from teenager. That's why I've aged him down. I tried my very hardest not to put any of my men in sweaters, because obviously it's Oasis Springs, so they can't, you don't want to be wearing, too many long sleeves. Everyone's outfits are completely done. I will be posting the families on Patreon. I also, if you have downloaded my Willow Creek families from Patreon, I did re-upload them. I made a post on my Patreon, but I did re-upload them because when I was going through all my, I finally went through all the rest of my cast CC and renamed them and put them in the correct folders, because some of them were in the wrong folders. And I've started retagging some of them, but because I retagged some of my skin details already, if I were to continue uploading any new families, they would have, you wouldn't be able to get this CC quickly, so I just re-upload, and I changed some outfits on, Cassandra and some other Sims as well. I was not a fan of Cassandra's hot weather wear, and I gave her, a second, party wear. Geoffrey was really basic. I struggled a lot with Oasis Springs because there were so many men and so many older men. The teen to young adult men, I've said before, I am totally fine doing because I have majority of my CC for them. But when it comes to my older, older adult elder men, I struggle. I just want to throw them all in some slacks and a button up with a sweater over and call it a day. We've now moved on to Nancy Landgraab. Now, you'll notice that she switched spots down in the bottom left with Geoffrey, and that's because I tried doing Nancy already. She looked way too young for how I wanted, even though I wanted her to look like she had Botox and maybe some surgeries done, but I didn't want her to look like she still looked like she was in her 20s. That makes any sense. Because she has, in my game, Johnathan is 17, so she has a 17-year-old son. I assume that she would have been maybe 20, 21 years old when she had him. So she's in her late 30s, maybe early 40s now. So she can't look too young. I did really like the clothing that I put on her. I think she isn't entirely Sentate clothing. I don't know, I just felt like that was appropriate. I did give her a little bit of aging to her face, no matter how much Botox she gets, she still, sprinkles her like foreheads in like disgust at so many people that it's just stuck there. That was my thought process. I thought the bob seemed very appropriate for her, so I tried to keep her in a short hair. So I think that first bob that I gave her is what I end up going back to. Um, but it just suited her. And then I think I put her in entirely greens and blues for all of her outfits. So I know I didn't want to go too heavy with her makeup. Um, I feel like she probably isn't someone who has really heavy makeup. I did also make her shorter. I like to think that maybe at this point, at Johnathan being 17, he's maybe outgrown his mom. I like the idea of her being on the shorter side. She wears like these like 6-inch heels, maybe with like a little bit of a platform underneath, so that she's not shorter than everyone that she's around. I like the idea of that. Um, I was tempted to give her a tattoo, maybe like a small one that she maybe got in as like a teenager in her youth. But while I was thinking about it, I was like, that just doesn't fit the narrative that I have for the Landgraabs. And for me, the Landgraabs are very much like because okay, let me explain it in a way that makes sense in my brain. At the Landgrab mansion, they have a detached garage, right? But they don't use the garage. All of their cars are parked in the driveway. And I like to think that they did this for a reason, and I have already decorated almost all of the Landgrab mansion. I have the garage set up as like a kind of like a party area, but just for teens. Like there's, plastic folding chairs for them to put like pizza and beer, all these other things on there. And I like to think that Nancy, because she was a girl, and she was the only girl that her parents had, or the only child that her parents had, that she couldn't do this. But she knows that at some point Jonathan's going to take over the family business from her, and she wants him to actually enjoy his youth. So from the outside, it seems like this very strict family, and that maybe Johnathan seems like a kid who's like, rebelling against his parents a little bit, but in reality, it's like his parents set up the garage for him to be able to do this. Um, there are also a lot of balconies in the manor, and I was thinking of like and I keep saying manor, but it's very much like uh California like mansions, like kind of excessive. But I was thinking that the two balconies, there's one off of Jonathan's bedroom and then one in like the hallway area outside of his bedroom. I like to think that maybe either both or at least the one off of his bedroom he uses to smoke with his friends, which is funny because it's literally right above his parents' bedroom, so they would be able to smell it very easily. If it was maybe the balcony over by Malcolm's bedroom would have been a better choice, but we've moved on to Johnathan now, and I struggled a lot to not make him seem too old. Like I didn't when I was doing him, he very much seemed like a college student, which is not where I was trying to go with. I was trying to, stick to teenagers look like teenagers in my game. I think I did really well with the Pleasant twins and Dirk Dreamer and Dustin Brooke. I I don't know if I did very well with Cassandra. I still feel like but then again, she's supposed to also be 17. So maybe because the other four are supposed to be like 15, 16, maybe that's why they look more like younger teenagers to me. Um, you know, I think honestly all of his outfits look really nice. I was debating when I was doing the rest of his outfits of giving him like maybe a golfing outfit. Um, but I didn't do that. I might go back and give him like a tennis outfit. I think maybe tennis is the game that he would play. Or maybe like rock climbing. I might give him a rock climbing outfit. But I want all of my rich teen and young adult men to have an additional athletic wear that's like some sort of like sport that rich people do. I don't know. I don't fall into that. Um, but yeah, so we've moved on to Malcolm, and I love the idea that Malcolm and Max Villarreal are like thick as thieves, and they get into so much fucking trouble. They're causing mischief all the time. They're probably sent to the principal's office like at least once a day when they're in school. Um, I have also switched. I think when I was initially setting up my forever save, I set it to summer. Maybe I switched it to summer later on, but it is currently summer in my game. However, I'm going to probably switch it to either fall or winter because I want them to actively be in school. Um, because I want to play out uh, high school with my teenagers and then moving on into university with um, Johnathan and Cassandra. And I think I'm going to move Cassandra into the doctor career. So she's going to go into uni for biology. And then Jonathan's going to take like a business. Like he's going to be a business major. Yeah, no, just simple little Malcolm. I did give him long hair because I feel like he doesn't. His hair is very untamed, which I think is hilarious considering the family he's in. But now we've moved on to the other Landgraab family, which again, the husband in this is Nancy's second cousin. I wanted the Landgraabs to have quite this large family, not like super large, right? I feel like there's two distinct lines in the family, which go back to Chester's great. So the farthest you can see on the Landgraab family is Chester's great grandpa or grandpa. It's one of those two. Um, but there's two different Landgraab businesses, right? There's like an architecture or like a construction business. And then there is I'm thinking like because we have like the Landgraab Power Company in the game, right? So I'm thinking the power company as well. So they're very integrated on what people like. One of them they will build your house or own your house, and the other one owns like they give you the power, so you are paying them every month in their power bill. So they get a decent amount of money. Um, I don't think that they will own a majority of property in Oasis Springs. I think the three rental properties I have in Oasis Springs are owned by the Lothario parents, or Don Lothario's parents, um, which are a trailer park, the apartment building that Don Lothario lives in, and then another apartment building, which is kind of on the smaller side. Um, Also, really quickly about Myrtle, I love the idea that she has about as much plastic surgery in her that Nancy does, but she maybe is like a handful of years younger than Nancy. Maybe like 2 or 3 years. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe she got pregnant at 18 is what I'm thinking. But her body is amazing. I feel like that's entirely surgery though. And then because I'm redoing all of the families in my game, I want to be able to see everyone's names easier. So when I'm looking through like the social panel, I won't have to hover over each person to see which Malcolm it is. That's why the number is in the first name and not the last name. So child Malcolm is the 5th. This is the 4th, and then Malcolm the Fourth's dad is the 3rd, and then I think this guy's grandpa is the 2nd, and then there's the 1st. So it goes all the way back to Nancy's great grandpa, if I'm thinking about that correctly. I lost my initial train of thought. See, I tried recording when I recorded the first set, like the first voiceover of this video. I had a script. But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna. All the rest of them, I didn't have a script. I'm just going to just speak just off of my brain, and that clearly isn't working. Also, these videos were a majority of the Oasis Springs families were recorded before I I resorted my cast folder, so you'll see a lot of things are like moved around, and at some point I think it was when I in the townie makeovers video, like the rest of the townies, my female default underwear breaks and it's still broken. I know it's an issue with Wicked Whims, but I'm not removing Wicked Whims right now, so I'm just gonna deal. But the twins for this family are Dudley and Mimi, and I wanted to try and bring back as many when I'm doing my save file, I want to try and bring back as many names from old games as possible. So I know that it's like an alternate family or like an older family members or someone who there's 2 sets of children who are named Dudley and Mimi. But in my game, they're teenagers in like the most recent generation of the Landgraabs. So they're also, I don't think that they're twins in older games, but they're fraternal twins in my game. So I made Dudley kind of like, I don't know, I feel like he doesn't have a sense of style. You know, yes, he comes from this like big name, but he just wants to be left alone. He doesn't want to like he likes his small friend group. But he doesn't want everyone paying attention to him. I feel like it's the kind of deal that he has. His sister, on the other hand, loves the attention. I did also make it to where Dudley and Holly Alto, who I also aged down into a teenager, are dating in my game, which I think is hilarious because I'm pretty sure in one of the older games, I've never played any of the old games. I have The Sims 3. I've played it a little bit, but The Sims 4 is the game that I play. Okay, so when I'm like, oh, I think about an older game, it's just whatever I read on the wiki. You know, when I was doing my research about setting up the family trees. But there's like a feud where like they don't like each other between the Alto and the Landgraab family. So the idea that like Holly and Dudley are dating, I think is just hilarious. I do not think that their parents know. I absolutely do not think that their parents know. I think that maybe Johnathan and Mimi know that Dudley and Holly are dating because they're all in like this elite teenagers like social group. But I do not think that any of the parents are aware of what's going on, and if they did, they would make them break up like immediately. I tried when I went through the 2 base game worlds, and then obviously I'm adding a couple Sims to Newcrest. I tried not to. I mean, I failed a handful of times, but I tried not to stick to one specific color, or like maybe just 2 specific colors when dressing my Sim, because it is a rabbit hole that I fall down. Like, obviously, like they'll have like black and gold and silver and white and maybe like browns, but like Nancy is like mainly blues and greens. Mimi is mainly pinks and like I think like yellows. I think I have another sim in Willow Creek who's just like a custom sim that I made who almost her entire wardrobe is just blue. Just the color blue. So I clearly need to get better at expanding the horizons of different colors. I think the only time it works is on the men because I have to try and like dress men to where they don't look like they're just copy paste like they're mimicking outfits of other men in the world. But yeah, I wasn't sure if I wanted to give any of the Landgraab families a pet. I did kind of really want to give Johnathan a golden retriever, but at the same time I feel like um what was it called? Cassandra has a dog, and then like I'm trying to stick to like 2 or 3 pets per world. When you think about it, like basically Brindleton Bay, in the bay, and like when you make a new safe hall, is the only world that has pets. So it's still more pets than before, but I just don't want every single family to have a pet because it's just a bit too much. Um, so I think there's a pet in like every single goth family, and then there's maybe like 1 or 2 other pets in Willow Creek. And then Holly has a dog, which you don't see in the video that I have for the Alta family. And then the newbie parents have a dog. I think one other person has a dog. So like again, don't want too many pets in the world. But now we've moved on to the Landgraab elders, and also I'm trying. You probably think I'm rambling about so many different things. I'm trying not to have so much empty space, like quiet space in here, because again, I can't put music in the background. So I'm sorry if I just start rambling about random shit. We moved on to the goth. Oh my god, the Landgraab elders now. My bad. So we have Margaret and Malcolm the Third, and then we have Queenie and Chester Landgraab. Queenie Landgraab is probably my favorite, and that's on purpose. It's absolutely on purpose. I can't remember what their name is right the second, but I will put the Tumblr's like the Tumblr user's name on the screen. I They made an entire series based off of like Nancy Landgraab's upbringing and like her in high school or like private high school and then university and stuff. And first off, absolutely amazing story. If you know who I'm talking about just off of that, then love you. But on the occasion that we would see Queenie Landgraab in that storyline, she just looked like an absolute fucking queen. So I think like her everyday outfit is a little bit on the basic side, but like all the rest of her outfits are not. Um, but also I think at this point, or like when I was doing the rest of the Oasis Springs parents, I was giving up with my elders. Truly, I was putting on basic skin deep, uh like the basic skin overlay, the elder overlay, and even then they weren't really looking like elders. And then just throwing some clothes on them because I'm like, I'm so done. Like, this is my fault for wanting basically everyone to have parents, but I'm so done. I couldn't take it anymore. I was so done with doing elders, and it was basically a 1-for-1 for like an elder and another and another age sim in my save file. And I was like, I can't do it anymore. I think honestly, Oasis Springs has the most elders, and probably all the rest of the worlds, probably. Uh, Sorry, I had to blow my nose. Um, Also, yeah. The reason that this has taken so long to come out, other than editing issues, is I had like basically all of Oasis Springs recorded. Uh, like a week ago. Like, not even kidding. I think I just finished doing like the last 3 families today. But I had almost all of Oasis Springs done. It was just I was so sick and I sounded so congested and I could barely talk without like needing to like stop and breathe because I couldn't breathe through my nose. So it took me a long time to get over being sick. And then it was Thanksgiving, and so like 2 days prior to Thanksgiving, and then the day after, I just could not even sit down at my computer, because it was just so busy and we were doing stuff. But I'm finally able to sit down and do all the voiceovers again. Because I did initially do a lot of the voiceovers, but again, my music audios or my music tracks are completely broken for whatever reason. So, but now we've moved on to Queenie. And the initial sound that I had for her was like not it, so I did change up her face like a lot. But I love the way that she turned out. I think honestly, see, I want to say that she's my favorite, but she's definitely my favorite elder. I think her and oh, what is her name? Cornelia Goth. I think Queenie and Cornelia Goth are probably my 2 favorite elders. But as far as like favorite Sims in Oasis Springs, oh god, now that I'm thinking about it, actually, I don't think I can say I have a favorite because I love all 3 of the teenagers. 3? All 4 of the teenagers. Sorry, my bad. All 4 of the teenagers in Oasis Springs. I love my version of the Calientes. I think that they're honestly iconic, which is what they needed to be. I love Vita Alto and Holly Alto. Bert is just a man. Sorry, that was a bit of aggressive. But Bert is just a man. But Vita Alto probably is one of my favorites. I think her and Nancy are like my favoritely dressed. Vita's body is insane. I cannot wait for you guys to see that because her body is insane. I also spent so long on Queenie because I wanted her to be like perfect. But as far as like Oasis Springs Elder, Queenie's probably my favorite. Definitely. I think the rest of them don't even compare to her, if I'm being completely honest. None of them come close to how much I love Queenie Landgraab. See, I was waiting to put this hair in her. This hair is where it, like, really was like, yep, and she's perfect now. Also, that night dress that I clicked on, like 2 outfits back, I did end up putting that for her on her sleepwear because I thought honestly that outfit just looked perfect. And I think the other, like, it's like a blouse and a set of slacks outfit. I think I put that on like her party wear because again, she's just, I don't know, she's just too. I just love her. Also that dress that she's wearing is what I meant. Where like it's a bit more of a tone. It's not so out there. It's more of like a, I would say normal because honestly, Landgrabs are not at all normal. But it's more of a normal like grandmother outfit. Um, and then we move on to Chester, who it's I just needed him for the family tree, honestly. Like I was playing a little bit of the Landgrab family as well, like playing with them and setting up all of like the family connections and whatnot. And um, I I don't know. He's just not my favorite. Like he's just there. I think he feels about like pretty much every single one of the men. But well, again, the older adult and elder men because I do love my teen and young adult men. I think that's the age range that I really like to play is like all the way up until like they're done with college and they're starting their families. After that, then the men just don't matter to me anymore. And I'm sorry, it's just true facts. Like they're just there. Um, yeah, if you guys like the video, if you like my version of the land grabs, hit the like button and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know the next time I post a video, whether it's for this series or just, a mod video or something. But yeah, I love you guys. Bye bye.